Welcome to FCT Brief. Now coming to you from our Abuja studio. Now the PDP is once again at a political crossroad. The rift between loyalists of former Rivers State Governor and current Deputy Minister on Wike and other power blocks in the party is shaping up to determine the outcome of its much anticipated November convention. Sources within the party say Wike's camp is pushing for key structural adjustments, including zoning arrangements, leadership positions, and reconciliation frameworks as part of the conditions for a united front. And the members operating under the platform of eminent leaders and concerned stakeholders of the PDP met in Abuja on Monday night and released their demands in a communique read by a former Benue State Governor, Samuel Otom. They said while they agreed with the recommendations of the zoning committee adopted by the National Executive Committee, NEC, that the position of the national chairman should remain in the north, it must remain in the north central in line with the 2021 convention sharing formula.
Political observers believe the outcome of the PDP's internal negotiations will determine whether the party emerges stronger ahead of 2027 or slides deeper into factionalism. For now, the National Working Committee has set up consultations to manage the tensions, but whether a middle ground can be reached before November remains the big question. Analysts say the PDP convention will be more than a routine gathering. It is a test of survival for Nigeria's leading opposition party. And with Wike's influence in the FCT and Rivers politics still strong, his camp's condition may hold the key to the PDP's fragile unity. Chetham's Thierry Mwala is an activist, Pan-Africanist and lawyer, and he joins us live via Zoom. It's good to hear from you this morning, Mr. Chatham. Also joining us much later is Dr. David Ogbole, and he is a former special advisor to the former governor of Benue State, and he's also a public affairs analyst. He will join us much later on the show. But Mr. Chatham, let's start with you. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Well, let's go straight into our topic. Wike's faction has tabled fresh demands. In your own opinion, can this be met before the PDP convention, or are we looking at another prolonged crisis within the PDP?
Let me say this, and I'm going to be blunt about it, as I've always been. You know, when you look at Nigerian politics and you look at the Wike's camp, the Wike's camp in Nigerian politics is one camp you cannot satisfy their demands. Remember, they came up with different, first of all, they came up with the Samanyangu issue and all that. Next thing, they came up with the zoning of the presidency to the south. They came up with a lot of other things they came up with. And they tried to satisfy those interests just for peace to reign in the party. The big question is, have the Wike camp at any point in time considered to anything since this whole crisis in the PDP started? The truth is, Wike and his team are working for the re-election of Mr. President. And Wike has openly said, see, I am going to support Mr. President for re-election. If you're going to support Mr. President for re-election, who is in the APC, which is clearly an anti-party activities, why remain in the PDP to destroy the PDP and to destroy opposition in this country? You know, the reason some of us enjoy and want a viable opposition, it's so that the president do not think that he has all the powers to do everything and goes away with it. That's why we'll have a viable opposition that would always call him to order. And there will be some level of checks and balances in the way he actually carries out his own activities. But we have seen an FCT minister who is now working like a mole in the PDP, destroying the fabrics of the PDP alongside his men, his G5 governors, and the rest of them, destroying everything that the PDP has stood for and everything that the founding fathers of PDP have worked for. That's why you see, today when they come up with this opinion, the opinion is met. Tomorrow they come up with another opinion. The opinion is met. They will look for something else just to destabilize the party. And we can introduce this a person belonging to two different political parties in this particular country, in our politics. Remember, in 2023, he was in PDP, he worked for the APC. Now we have seen Atiku and the rest of them saying they are members of the ADC, but they are working for the ADC, but they are still members of the PDP. Now the weakest action within the PDP has made these other persons within PDP to leave PDP, to join ADC, and to form this coalition we are seeing today. If you are tired of the PDP, if you can no longer work with the PDP, and whatever the PDP is doing, why don't you leave the political party and move on to the APC? Let us know that you're a member of the APC. That shows integrity. That shows truthfulness on your own part.
Now, Mr. Wala,
this level of insincerity.
Mr. Wala, why don't we take a look at it this way? Wike came out and said, I will work for the president. He didn't lie about that. And there is a party that said he has not, they've not made any pronouncement that he's committing anti-party activities. So we that are outside will be sufficient for us to say he's committing. While the party has disciplinary committee, they've not said he has committed anything. And this is not the first time somebody will be in one party and will be working and will be serving under a different government. Bonaige did that under President Obasanjo. He was in AD and he was a minister under a PDP government. So why don't we look at it this way, that Wike was sincere enough? And probably there are most inside PDP that is not just Wike. Maybe they are the people giving the strength to him to work. Why don't we focus on those individuals that have refused to call a spade a spade?
You know, Wike is leading the team. That is why I'm focused on Wike. Now, another thing you must understand, I'm not talking about Wike working in an APC administration. I'm talking about Wike saying that he's going to support the re-election of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. And when you have come up open, as a member of a political party, you're supposed to be loyal to your political party. You're supposed to show that respect to your political party. But if you have come up to say you're going to support someone from the opposition political party for re-election, for a re-election bid, what then are you still doing within the party? And let me also draw your attention. Let me draw your attention to something. The PDP has been so weakened by Wike that he controls most of the leadership within the PDP. Of course, you and I know that Sam Anyang, who is the secretary of the party, is a part of the Wike's camp within the PDP. And of course, you know how powerful a secretary of a political party can be with respect to the running of the political party. And that is what they hope on, stifling the political party and making sure that the political party does not make progress as it ought to make progress. But these things are happening. PDP has become weak. PDP cannot even issue a statement expelling Wike from the party because they realize that if they so do, it would explode the party beyond what it is right now. But I think that it is even a very weak step from the political party. They should expel him from the party because he has shown sufficient, himself and his team have shown sufficient anti-party activities within the political, and has also destroyed the political party. So why retain Wike and his men within the political party? Let me say this. These people are working for the re-election of Mr. President. All their actions, both in Rivers State and even in Abuja, are just for the re-election of Mr. President. Every other thing they are doing, they are not interested in the growth of PDP. They're not interested. The only, and that's another thing now. We have also had leaders or leaders of political party who are so interested in making so much money and all that. Don't forget, Wike has funded the party over time. Wike funded the party to the point now that these people are so glued to whatever they had benefited from the funding of the party, which Wike did, that they cannot look Wike in his face again to tell him that it is high time you leave this political party and join the APC because you're no longer helping to build the party, rather you're destroying the party.
Interesting. Well, we'll still stay with this, but that will be right after this short break. It's a good time to grab your coffee. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with FCT Brief. Now we'll continue our discussion on the fresh conditions for the PDP convention. But before we go straight back into our conversation, let's listen to this short video.
We call on the National Working Committee to urgently conduct fresh, transparent, and inclusive congresses in Ebonyi State, and Anambra, in line with the judgments of the courts. 2, that a fresh and legitimate Southeast Zonal Congress should be conducted. 3, that the outcome of the valid and legitimate South-South Congress held in Calabar, Cross River State, and recognized by the court be respected. 4, that the Ekiti State Local Government Area Council Congress should be conducted immediately in obedience to the subsisting court judgment. 5, that on zoning of party offices, whereas we agree with the zoning committee's recommendations, which was adopted by NEC, that status quo remains. We further and very strongly hold that there should be no form of micro-zoning for peace and stability within.
That was the voice of the former governor of Benue State, Otom. Mr. Chatham, the PDP Governors Forum chairman says it's time to flex muscles to protect the party. Do you think this is showing strength or just intolerance for dissent, considering the clip we just watched now?
Sorry, I didn't get that again.
Chatham, did you get my question?
I can hear you.
Yes.
No, I didn't get the question.
I was saying that the PDP Governors Forum says that it is time to flex muscles to protect the party. Now, do you think this is them just saying that, speaking from a place of strength, or just intolerance for dissent, considering the video that we just watched now?
You know, the Governors Forum of both PDP, APC, as well as the General Governors Forum, used to be very strong previously, especially under previous administrations and all that. But these days, we're seeing a very weak Governors Forum. In short, one of Amichi's interview, he decried the fact that the governors are so weak. Now, they are weak because why I am not taking the governors seriously, the PDP governors seriously, is because we have had a situation where these persons were brought in by their political godfathers who control them, determine what they say, determine what they do, and everything they do. And don't forget, some of them had people from Wike's camp sponsor their elections and all that. And they still feel that they owe loyalty to these people. So when they issue these statements, they issue the statement, let people feel that, okay, they are still active and they are still alive. But they do not take necessary steps and action to saving the party. And that's why you have seen that the party has gone down the drain the way it has gone. We have seen the Governors Forum sit, had meetings and try to resolve the issues within the party. But they have failed. It is not the first time the Governors Forum is issuing statements. It is not the first time the party is issuing statements. Of course, you see, the PDP now is the party where if the chairman issues a statement, the public secretary will come and counter it. And that's the kind of political party PDP has turned itself into. And ask yourself, how then do we take them seriously? Now, that's why I said that the Wike character has weakened the PDP. And even the governors whom we should rely on to save the party, the governors are no longer reliable because they have done the same thing the same way and they have not gotten any result. So why don't you take decisive steps to save the party? November is just by the corner for the convention. The whole idea is to weaken the party and possibly make the party not to even have a candidate for the next general election. And even if they will have a candidate, let them have a weak candidate that, of course, the president can run over in the elections. That is exactly what is happening. And this has to be stopped if the party leadership and even stakeholders of the party are serious. They have to take decisive steps and decisive action against these dissident members. If it takes them expelling them, they should be expelled. They should be expelled completely. Because I feel that for people who want to grow their political party, especially those who are serious with the opposition, they would make certain adjustments, they would make certain concessions But the Wike camp is not making any concession. They want all their demands to be met at every point in time, now, which Mr. is not good for growth.
Mr. Wala, let's look at it this way. The November convention is just around the corner. And you talked about the party taking the decisive step. Now, who or which organ of the party is capable of taking the decisive step? That is the question. Who can take that decisive step? Now, the way PDP is being managed, is that how a political party ought to be managed? I'd like you to just speak on this.
I can tell you for free that the way PDP is being managed, PDP is managed terribly bad. As I speak to you now, PDP has gone down the drain as at today. In short, I describe them as weak as tissue paper. That's how the PDP is today. A once very powerful and popular party in the whole of the continent of Africa. But now you look at the PDP and its leadership. The first challenge the PDP had was its leadership issues. The quality of leaders today in the PDP are, first of all, the problem of the party, because the leadership of PDP have refused to take decisive steps against dissident members. And let me say this, decisive steps against dissident members should have been taken right from the 2023 election, when they allowed those issues, when they allowed Wike continue with his G5 governors, continue with their shenanigans within the party, and make sure that they did the elections the way they went about the elections. That was where the problem started from. Now they finished with the 2023 elections. They could not take decisive steps. The issue of secretaryship came up. The court reached a decision. So when you look at the PDP generally, you don't find any organ that is strong enough, because one, in each of the organ of the PDP, you have wicked people infiltrating or that has infiltrated these organs of the PDP, and has further weakened them and made them not to take certain decisions they are supposed to take.
All right,
so I think at this point, the founding fathers of the PDP needs to step up. The founding fathers of the PDP need to step up and also issue statements in this direction. Call the leaders of the PDP to order and actually probably give them direction as to how to deal with the PDP.
Right.
But as of today, I must tell you that the PDP is almost dead as a political party.
Very strong position you've pointed out there. But we'll come back to you. We now have joining us on the show David Ogbole, and he was a special advisor to the former governor of Benue State. It's good to have you on our program.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, let's just jump straight in, because we have already started the conversation. But from where we left off, Wike's bloc insists that the national chairmanship remains in the North Central. Does this spell battles for Damangu, who may want to keep his seat?
Basically, we are in that political season now where one out of the three elements that makes for a democratic environment is having sway. The three elements basically are the political umpires, which comprises of INEC, who set the rules and the level playing ground for people or political parties to play. And then number two, the political actors, talking about the parties now who, through their conducts, throw up candidates. And then the third set is the office of the citizen, who actually determines who among these candidates now bears rule. So we're at the middle now, where the political actors are the one holding sway, where their internal mechanisms and arrangements are setting up party structures, determining direction of party, eventually aiming at the determination of candidates and power sharing within the party. And like the last gentleman said, it's a worrisome development. I represented my governor, who was chairman of the protocol committee at the presidential primaries. I was there that night when that announcement was made that actually polarized the whole issue, and candidature was shifted to the North. Atiku became the preferred candidate of the party. And then the crisis that followed that has left PDP a very, very fractured entity today, to the extent that a lot of the states or regions that were PDP strongholds are beginning to slip out of their hands right now. The South used to be a PDP stronghold, but today it is slipping out of their hands right now. But if you look at the demands and the insistence of the Wike bloc the 6-point demands, that if not met, the National Working Committee will not be able to hold, that's a threat rather, that they will not be able to hold the convention that is proposed for November, you will discover that politics actually is a matter of interest and trade-off of grounds.
Before you continue, we need to pay some dues. So you just hold that thought. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We still have more for you. Stay with us. For the PDP convention in November, we still have with us in the studio David Obole, and he was making a point before we went on the break. So you'd like to continue that?
So like I was saying, going forward into the 2027 election, which is the crux of all of this matter, Makinde was a member of the G5 with the rest of the governors, and today he is the obvious leader of the next faction that, in his words, he's trying to bring PDP back to her magnetic north as against the, what he termed the political rascality of Wike and his camp. But you see, politics is the game of superiority, not only of intellects, but also of strategies. The G5 have determined their own camp, they have determined their direction, they have also determined who they are supporting for president as per 2027, and they have declared that in the last Port Harcourt meeting. It was based on that Dino Melaye clashed with the rest of the next members.
Should the PDP act as a political party, or should they allow a faction dictates to them what to do?
The issue of factionalization is because there is a certain interest that has been declared already. And what is that interest? The interest is to see that 2027 plays out the same way the local government elections of Rivers State that happened a few days ago played out. The 23 local governments of Rivers State, PDP won only 2 local governments. The rest of the 21 local governments, APC won it. What does that tell you as far as the intentions of this camp of Wike is concerned? Rivers State is Wike's direct state. Our people say, how you know a big farm, you know it from the first ridge that will be cultivated. So you see that a political direction has been determined, and everything that is working right now is playing out in that particular direction. Right. So it's not about trying to preserve unity, trying to preserve rule of the law by insisting that judicial precedents or judicial pronouncements must be upheld. No, there is an endpoint, and Wike and his company are driving PDP, their PDP faction, toward that particular endpoint.
Very quickly,
that is what is playing out.
Let's go to Chatham before we, sign off. Mr. Chatham, the PDP zoning decision puts the presidential ticket in the South. Supporters call it balance. Critics say it's sabotage. What is it for you?
Wherever the PDP ticket is zoned to, for now, it doesn't matter. Just like your guest in the studio actually had noted, it doesn't matter where it is actually zoned to. Because the truth of the matter is that even if they take it to Wike's kitchen and it's not being given to Wike's prepared candidate or person, trust me, he will still, even if it's given to Wike's prepared candidate, Wike will still support Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027. So what is the essence of all this whole thing? Why don't you guys honorably pack your load and leave the PDP? Why destroy the political party? I just feel that Wike is still bitter with his loss in 2023 in the PDP, 2022 in the PDP primaries. He's still bitter with that particular loss. And he wants to do everything to get back at the PDP. So he wants to end the PDP, destroy the PDP, and destroy whatever the PDP stands for. So Wike needs to grow beyond that particular PDP primary loss.
Okay.
Yes, it is his first loss as a candidate. But it is very important that beyond his personal interest is a political party that has been built over the years and that has stood for this particular nation, even as opposition. So let him, what he's doing is really pathetic.
Chatham, in 30 seconds, can you help me with this? In 30 seconds, if the PDP cannot take charge, will it be okay, like people say, the NWC should drop, should step down?
Of course, that's where it's going to head to, because this NWC is too weak to take decisive steps or to lead the party to the next level. The NWC is too weak as a group of persons. Of course, you can't blame them so much because, I said before, they've been infiltrated by the Wike people, and Wike called the shots. He sits in his house, calls the shots and all that. And that's what we see happen. The same way he called the shots in the local government election. The persons in the APC that won elections were persons selected by Wike.
All right, gentlemen. Unfortunately, that's where we have to leave the conversation today. But we must say thank you to you, Mr. Chetam Thierry Nwala, and also Mr. David Ogbole. Unfortunately, we were not able to get a lot from you today, but some other time we'll invite you, and we hope that you come on time. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for always having me.
Yeah. Well, that's our package for today. We're glad you could be a part of it. We'll now hand you over to Lagos, where Ria and the rest of the team are standing by to continue with the rest of the show.
All right. Thank you, Abuja. Now go day. Thank you.